surrounding the death of a social media influencer. Her body found in an abandoned home in Cleveland. The victim's family wondering why the 30-year-old from Baltimore was in Cleveland and what caused her death. Michelle Nix has the story tonight.
She loved being around people. She loved being the center of attention. She just wanted to be a positive or negative force in people's lives.
Influencer Reyna Dunlap had tens of thousands of social media followers and knew how to get attention.
She also was very controversial, and I know a lot of people say, oh, she said negative things.
Reyna was chasing her lifelong dream of being famous, hoping to one day land a gig on the reality show Baddies Midwest. But her dreams tragically ended when she was found dead inside of an abandoned home on Francis Avenue in Cleveland. Her family puzzled, wondering why she was in Cleveland in the first place. Her mother, Karen Jones.
Why was she in Cleveland? We don't have any connection to Cleveland at all. And we didn't know why. We didn't even know she was out of the state of Maryland.
Her family traveled here saying the petite 30-year-old's hair and nails were done when her body was found. But she was dressed in large, uncharacteristic clothing, and detectives told the family there was no obvious signs of trauma.
They suspected that it was overdose. I said my daughter's never used hard drugs in my life. Talk to anybody. I will stake my life that the toxicology is going to come back, that she did not have any hard drugs in her system.
The family now questions if Reyna decided to travel to Cleveland for some reason on her own, or if something more sinister was involved. Her sister, Reyna Dunlap, tells me they uncovered medical paperwork among her belongings.
She had gone to a rape crisis center at the end of November, on November 29th here in Cleveland.
What goes through your mind when you hear that?
That somebody was hurting her.
Our biggest concern is that someone was holding her against her will, that she had concerns and had posted that she was being sex trafficked.
Reyna's mother and sister say they have now provided Cleveland detectives with tips they have received from the public after they posted on TikTok. They also say there is information on a Snapchat video where Reyna appeared to be beaten and she said she was drugged. Her exact cause of death has not been determined. Reporting in Cleveland, Michelle Nix, 19 News.
Hey y'all, here we go. I'm bringing it back, I'm bringing it back Front Street and shit, okay? I'm bringing back Front Street for a specific reason, a specific fucking reason and shit, okay? So what we have here today, what we'll be focused on is a woman went by the name, who was named Reyna Dunlap, okay? She was called the Nude Queen online and whatnot. I'm pretty sure, but she was called the Nude Queen and shit, okay? She was seeking fame and clout, and she wanted to be on the show called Baddies Midwest. She had done an audition, and sometime after that, she was found in an abandoned house, dead, okay? And the weird thing about it was that she was wearing like some baggy clothes, and it wasn't the shit she usually wore. And people seem perplexed about it. There has, as far as I know, there hasn't been any update about what she actually died from, what kind of trauma she experienced, or who did it, or what. But during this news investigation, we saw her mother and I guess a younger sister and an unidentified child that looked a lot like Reyna Dunlap, sitting there, talking, and they were like completely disheveled and everything, and like, funky looking and shit. And I know you think it's fucked up for me to say that, but it was the usual spiel. If anyone knows, anything, please contact us and everything. All well and good and shit, okay? And I hope that they do find the answers that they seek and shit. But I feel like the child might be Reyna Dunlap's. I could be wrong and shit, or it could be the sisters. They look fucked up and shit. They were talking about all these things about like she didn't do drugs and she mostly led a really clean lifestyle. But she did have like online platforms, like all this shit, like Snapchat, Instagram, and maybe an OnlyFans and shit, maybe. But using the metric of common sense, gentlemen, we can look at her being found in that abandoned house, in that state of dress. We can look at it, and, those of us who have been, lived some life can kind of extrapolate what happened and shit. We can take an educated guess that might be really close to the truth and shit, and I want to put it out there because, I'm so fucking tired. After the George Floyd thing, and I think it's Jacob Blake and all this bullshit, YouTube fucking with me about that Jacob Blake shit because I was pissed off about it. I've decided to be very candid about this. I believe in the sanctity of human life and shit, but I have to use common sense and shit. And the fact that, I've been around, okay? I spent time on Skid Row in 1990 in Los Angeles downtown and shit, not for a long enough time to get some of that life and shit. See how people do it out there on the streets and shit. And then I lived in the out there in the city of Angels for a minute. I saw all kind of shit that you wouldn't believe. I seen all kind of shit in my hometown of Chicago, the South Side especially. I done seen some ratchet, fucked up shit. And I wanted to talk about this because I feel like it tells you that we need to do something about rebuilding our community by any means necessary and shit. And one of the means is like you can't necessarily, you got to be really on your square about protecting your seed. Okay, you can't just be out here reckless in the streets and shit. Okay, right? I want to talk about, I know it sounds crazy, I'm going off on a tangent, but I want you motherfuckers to make sure you have at least 3 condoms on you, okay? Stop giving babies to just anybody and shit. I'm not shitting on this woman, okay? I feel bad. She has my condolences for losing her fucking daughter, okay? Losing her fucking daughter. But we have to face facts. Her daughter was out in these streets. She was for the fucking streets, okay? And I do my due diligence, okay? I do my motherfucking due diligence. Now look this chick up. You wouldn't be surprised where the places that I found, vestiges of, her career. Okay, as it is. Alright? Vestiges of her career. The reason that, Reyna Dunlap was found in that house, okay, more likely she was doing some sort of sex work in there. And perhaps the reason she was wearing those baggy clothes is because she was trying to stay on the low. Okay? She was trying to stay on the low. And I can tell you that, in my own personal history, I've hooked up with some chicks that popped up at the spot in some fucked up clothes, some baggy, shitty looking clothes, and went in the bathroom and came out with some shit on, blow your wig off. Okay? Not saying this about Miss Dunlap. I'm not as, I feel bad. She was killed, and I hope they bring the killer to justice and whatnot. But, we can't ignore the fact that, like, some of her behavior led her to this, this outcome and shit, okay? Now, I did my due diligence and whatnot. She was called the Nude Queen. That's one of her monikers online. And I've seen several. I know what this woman looks like naked, front, back, top, bottom, all up in her most holiest of holiest. All the openings that she has, I've seen them in exquisite detail. I won't go any further. YouTube standards and practices be damned. Okay? I've seen her getting her shit busted out, man, by some pookies on there. Okay? And some point of view action, if you get my drift and shit, okay? Your daughter was a sex worker. Okay? And she was known to be a scammer and shit. The actual folder that I saw a lot of this shit when it was talking about scamming ass bitch. That's what it was called. And then I looked down in the comment section. I can't say, obviously the site, standards and practices. But I scrolled down where the shit was collected at. And dudes were sharing stories of being scammed out of money by her. And one dude was talking about, I got the shit. It wasn't nothing. I beat that shit up. And I was just like, yeah, it wasn't worth it. That's fucked up. You see all these goddamn pictures of this woman. And she's like you know, a hood exotic. Okay, it's like a light-skinned chick, you know, like maybe a yellow bone on the lighter side. I know about that, obviously. You know, she was kind of like light-skinned chick. She had pictures where she looked like just, you know, basic, and pictures where you look like, okay, I'm gonna get that bitch. You know, I'm gonna pull up on this nigga. That being said, it's time for us to face facts and shit. It's time for us to stop sugarcoating this shit, okay? You know, the women in our ethnic community, they have a variety of you know, rose-colored glasses that they ain't gonna take off no time soon and shit. They want to talk all this bullshit, how they're the smartest, most intelligent, blah blah blah, open the most businesses, but we're also delicate little flowers, the most oppressed, and no man, you know, no man protects and provides for us and all this shit, but we don't need you ninjas, you dusty and all this shit, okay? I'm not really trying to shit on Reyna Dunlap here, shit, but, you know, we have to err on the side of caution and shit. You don't know who you fucking with. You don't know what kind of person she is and whatnot. Who knows? Maybe she met up with, you know, a John in their house and, you know, maybe she tried to scam him or she had something on her and, you know, maybe he felt like he had to do what he had to do. You know, some really desperate, you know, fucked up people out there and shit. We don't even know the gender of the person that did this shit to her. We don't know if it was a setup. It could be like that Shanquilla Robinson shit. That is a thing and shit. You really have to watch out for that today. People are into this, you know, gang stalking shit and luring you out, you know, scamming you to go to some place and then they all whoop your ass. And, you know, it's just horrible and shit. It's not as safe. It's really not safe out there and shit. You know, and women really can't raise, you know, proper children a lot of times and shit. And every time they do, you see one of these women with their children that going to Harvard or something, they got like an NFL contract or something, they make like some big fucking deal. Look what I did. I raised this dude and shit. Because deep down they know that they, you know, it should have been a nuclear family. That's why they spend all their time harping about this shit. I ain't got no man. I ain't getting that. But I don't need no nigga, but I want a nigga and shit. Like, okay, pick one. Okay? Pick one. I gotta say like this and shit, King. You know, you gotta think about yourself, your priorities and shit when you out here fucking around and shit, you know? You gotta be careful about that. I'm not gonna talk about it go any further and shit, but, you know, I want to tell the mother and shit, okay, I hope they bring whoever's responsible for her being found in that manner in the house to justice, okay? But you have to recognize your fucking failure. You failed your fucking daughter. Why is she out there doing that shit? Why is she naked? Why she got her asshole all over the fucking internet? I see it, multi videos of Pookie smashing the shit out of her and shit. And when I ain't doing that, she in her room, it looks like a room, probably in the house where they live, all three of these people and this baby that might be this woman's baby. You know, I see her in this room, it looks like a, you know, kid's room, twerking naked, you know, bending over, you know, coughing and shit for the camera. It's sad, man. You know you ain't got shit to work with when, you know, you in a situation with your female and her first thought is to do something sexual. You know, something strange for some change. You know, that's her default, you know, shit to go. You know, I used to know motherfucker, I used to work at this temporary job in the post office and there used to be this dude there. I used to be talking about this shit all the time and laughing his ass off. This was like the fucking 90s. This dude in his glove compartment, he's had 200 to 300 Polaroids of naked women and shit. Some of our coworkers were in there. And he was giving me a ride home and he handed me the stack and shit. And I was thumbing through the stack and I was like in shock. You know, these chicks were doing the same shit you see them doing today on OnlyFans. Bending over, spreading that shit. I think that's gross personally. You know, just doing shit. And I was like shocked. And, you know, hindsight, you know, maybe this motherfucker was pansexual or something, but he didn't try shit with me, man. But, you know, I want you kings out there. Y'all better be careful, man. Don't waste your fucking life. You only got one life to live. You gotta live that shit for yourself. You gotta live your best fucking life and shit. And this is why we take, you know, situations like, you know, the Reyna Dunlap situation, you know, the nude queen, you know, ending up dead as fuck in a house. We take that as a cautionary tale. You know, back in the 70s, there was this movie that addressed this shit, okay? You can go look this up if you want to actually sit your ass down and have some, like, attention span. And look at this 70s movie called Looking for Mr. Goodbar. That explains a lot of this mindset, like Reyna Dunlap and that other female, I forgot her name, who got killed by the Spanish dude. You know, she let him in her house and he killed her shit. And it turned out she was fleecing the fuck out of him for money and shit. You don't know what you dealing with and shit. women talk about this provision and protection, all that bullshit and whatever the fuck they want, but they always talking about some shit like it's a business. Your box of business we can't build. Okay? We can't build a business on your box. Okay? Don't be a suitcase pimp. Don't be a fucking white knight for these fucked up females and shit. They are a liability. If their first go-to anything, when they have a setback, is to use their box, their vagina, to solve problems and shit, or to get what they want. Okay? That's not somebody you want to be with and shit. That bitch is barely an option. Okay? She is a party favorite. Okay? And you better be strapped up and shit. You get that utility belt full of magnums and shit. Okay? And whatever the fuck else. Make sure you take a shower and wash your shit. You pour some hydrogen peroxide on your shit and some alcohol on that shit. Wash your nuts. Okay? I hate to be that way. Okay? This is a, Front Street. And I'm bringing the shit back from time to time. Every time that I put one of these out, it has one of these wayward women in the bitch. Okay? Alright? I'm not doing this to be, engaging in misogyny, even though I identify as a misogynist anarchist. Because I have this sustained apathy that has been acutely, it's become highly acute since 2019. Okay? I don't want anyone to go have the war stories that I have, and people older than me, in my peers, that have even worse. Okay? Yeah, play safe out there, fellas. Okay? And you females out there, man, come on. Man, you gotta slow the fuck down and shit. You need to sit your ass down. Okay? Because that box has an expiration date on it, And, it's tragic to say, Reyna Dunlap, the new queen, her expiration date was in that fucking house and shit.
The Black Patriarchy. A non-existent group of fictional black male power brokers not discredited, erroneously jailed or outright killed by the minority majority who look the other way as they work tirelessly to shame, oppress, and outright take out the altruistic black female populace of the honorable democratic United States of America. 3K's inset bitches. These evil wealthy members of the black patriarchy are the sole reason for all the ills of the black community, walking, talking, holding down jobs, and doing everything up to and including giving their very lives in service to their baby mamas and baby's motherfucking kids. Their motto that strikes fear into the hearts of black women everywhere: bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.